It's baseball, it's playoffs, it's October. You're in the first round. Let's get it started.
You're tuned in to the hottest sports analysis of the week with your hosts Ron Dolbeck and Chris Roberts. And now, here's the first round.
Hey, it's a baseball playoff special here on a Thursday night in the first round. We're glad that you are joining Zach, Chris, me here in the first round talking about everything going on in the baseball playoff special edition. Chris, we're down to 4 teams. Tampa Bay taking on Houston.
Yeah.
They're up 3-1, and the National League has got your Atlanta Braves going against the team that I have all my money on from the beginning of the season, which is the LA Dodgers. And let's start there in the National League with the Dodgers. The Dodgers went in a 2-0 hole, and I started getting nervous because, you give up Game 3, and that's the end of the game. The Dodgers in Game 3 scored 11 runs in the first inning. In the first inning, on their way to a 15-3, what I call a salvation victory in Game 3, bringing it to a 2-1 series lead for Atlanta going into tonight's game. Kershaw is going to be on the bump for the Dodgers. And Bryce Wilson, 15 innings pitched. He's given up 7 earned runs. What I like about this young kid is his strikeout to walk ratio is 2-1. But I've got to consider this for my Dodgers to be a must win.
Yeah, it has to be a must-win for the Dodgers. Going into this game, as I said earlier this season, Atlanta was this team that was hot last year going into the playoffs. And again, from last year, they just continue to build on that experience. And so, with having the shorter series, the shorter season and whatnot going into this series, I think it actually plays out and helped Atlanta.
Yeah, Game 4 tonight, 9 o'clock on Fox. Kershaw has had back problems. They started at the beginning of this shortened season, and they reared their ugly head 2 nights ago because he didn't take the start in Game 2. They had planned on him doing that. Dave Roberts announced he was going to be the Game 2 starter. Didn't end up happening. He goes tonight. If I'm a Dodger fan, I need Kershaw to be solid. And moreover than that, there's kind of like this pigpen cloud that hangs over Clayton Kershaw when it comes to the playoffs. As a lefty in his career, during the regular season, he's lights out. But unfortunately, the history with Clayton Kershaw is when he gets to the playoffs is when he starts stubbing his toe. I need him to be solid tonight. I'm not worried about the Dodgers hitting. I think they're going to come up. They reared their head the other night and put up 15 runs against the Braves. I'm looking for the equalizer tonight, but I think it starts with Kershaw solidifying himself, and I don't know how solid he is with that back issue right now.
And you're right about that. I think Kershaw has to be able to get over this hump. Right now, you can consider basically Clayton Kershaw basically the Peyton Manning of baseball. He seems to do really well during the regular season, but when it comes down to getting to the playoffs, he can never get over the hump. Also, LA has to bring their bats. They have to be able to manufacture some runs when they need them to actually climb back into this series. If not, I look for Atlanta to possibly take a 3-1 lead.
Yeah, they brought their bats last night, 15 runs, 11 in the first inning. I don't think that was an enigma. They've got hitters all up and down that lineup. I think they're going to come out solid. I hope, and I'm looking for a big Dodger win to square this series off at 2-2, and then we've got a 3-team playoff. Anything can happen. I told you, all my money is on the Dodgers winning the World Series. I think I've got them at like 5-1, 7-1. You put up 100 and you're going to win 5. I think it was at 5-1 or something like that at the beginning of the season. So tonight, critical game. We're going to be watching that one. Let's go over to the American League now. Tampa taking on Houston. Tampa goes up 3-1. What I'm loving about them is their pitching. You got Blake Snell. You got Tyler Glasnow, Ryan Yarbrough. I have never been so confident in the history of the Rays, and they've made the playoffs before, but I think for the first time in this franchise's history, making it to the playoffs, they've got a solid starting 5 and a pretty good bullpen. What I really like is their left fielder, Randy Arozarena. How do you say that, Zach? Is it Arozarena?
Arozarena.
Yeah,
I think so. The guy has been jacking home runs.
Oh my gosh, he's hitting 442 in the playoffs with 5 home runs and 7 RBIs. He's going nuts. They're not getting great hitting. Nobody is hitting for average right now for Tampa. They're situationally hitting, and that's what. Again, it's the same old thing with them. They're not the Yankees. They're not the Dodgers. They're not the Red Sox and the Cubs going out buying high-profile players. They play team ball, and that's what's gotten them to a 3-1 lead in this series right now.
Yeah, I mean, again, when you're looking at Tampa Bay, I'm really looking, and really they kind of remind me of that Kansas City team that won a few years ago. I mean, they have good pitching, and then they're hitting in situational when there's situational hitting, they're doing pretty well. So with that going in their favor, Tampa Bay has a chance to go to the World Series, which is kind of odd to say, being that they defeated my Yankees last week.
I'm okay with that. I'm not okay with them going to the World Series on a hot streak, because I don't want them taking on, hopefully, the Dodgers. I want the Dodgers to win it all. That's what I want. So let's try and break down what has happened to the Astros. They're down 3-1. Here's what I can't understand. You talk about Springer in the playoffs. He's hitting 289. You talk about Brantley in the playoffs. He's hitting 341. You talk about Altuve in the playoffs. He's hitting 333. You talk about Correa in the playoffs. He's batting 353. So you look at their numbers, and you go, okay, so hitting's not the problem. So let's dive into the pitching. Starting pitching, the whole rotation, everything. Team ERA in the playoffs, Chris, 3.38, and they've given up only 16 dingers. Yeah. So they've got the pitching is there, the hitting is obviously there, and yet they find themselves down 3-1 going into Game 5 tonight.
But the problem is you can have all the hitting you want and your pitching can be great, but if you can't hit the ball when you have runners in scoring position, that's going to always tend to take away from anything you do on offense.
What Zach brought up before the show started is the situational hitting that we talked about in the National League. They're not situationally hitting with runners in scoring position, right. And that's killing them because they got 4 guys here. The lowest one of them, Springer, is batting 289. They're getting their hitting. The pitchers are coming through. I don't think this staff is what it was 2 years ago and 3 years ago. Greinke's got a little more, wear off of the tread on the tire. You don't have Verlander there, and you don't have Cole Garrett anymore.
Right.
So they're making it happen still with less talent. But I think this series is pretty much over. I'm moving Tampa ahead. Let's get to the National League and figure out who's going to win this series.
With this series, if LA pulls it off tonight, it's a 3-game series. It can go either way.
But don't you have to swing it? It comes down to pitching.
It comes down to pitching, but again, too, with the way Tampa is playing, I mean,
let's talk Dodgers and Atlanta.
Okay, I mean, with Atlanta also has been hitting pretty well in with runners in scoring position. So that's going to be the key to whoever wins this series.
Okay, we're both on the same page with Tampa moving forward to the World Series.
Yeah.
All right, give me a pick on tonight's game and on the series in the National League. You got Kershaw on the bump for the Dodgers going to Game 4.
I think Atlanta finds a way to take Kershaw into to get him out of the innings kind of early. I think Atlanta wins this game tonight.
Atlanta.
Yes.
Okay, I'm going with Kershaw. It is a little bit of a homer pick, but also he's a solid pitcher. It's not like they're just throwing Joe Blow out there. He's proven he's had problems with the back. He's had problems in the postseason. I think he steps up to the plate. I like Dave Roberts as a manager. I think their hitting is going to be great. They even that series tonight 2-2, and I look for them to get it done because I believe in the Dodgers pitching staff more than I do the Braves. So I'm going to take the Dodgers to take on Tampa Bay in the World Series. We're going to hold off on World Series predictions. So you've got Tampa and you've got Atlanta.
Yeah, I got Atlanta.
All right, we'll see how it pans out. If you want to be a part of the show here, it's so easy. Get a hold of us at thefirstrroundrd@gmail.com or leave a comment in our comments section right down here. The best thing you can do is subscribe. Become a subscriber today. Hit the notification button every Thursday night when we upload new videos. YouTube will let you know about it. We're going to be doing our big show right after this one, talking about all the stuff in college football. You can get in on that. Email us now and get your comments in. We will be talking everything going on in the world of sports again this time next Thursday. Until then, everybody, take care of yourselves.